Okay, so I looked in WebAssign and the textbook as well, and I'll show you the two ways that they write out the answer to these problems. So these aren't the main problems, finding the domain, but I mean, it's important to know how to do it. But there's different ways, just kind of expressing the answer. So I'll go through that a little bit. So this example says find the domain. So what we're doing is we're saying, when does this denominator, when does that equal 0? Because those are the numbers we can't have. So you take that polynomial, 4x squared minus 16x minus 20, and set it equal to 0. Now we're going to factor. So there's a GCF here. So we've done these quadratic equations before. And so we get 4 times x, let's see, minus 5 is going to be one of them, and x plus 1 is the other one. It looks kind of like the last problem I did, but that's just a fluke. So if you think about, what factors would make the polynomial 0, you don't have to worry about 4. In fact, you could divide both sides by 4 and get rid of that 4 if you wanted to. But you have to worry about, when does x minus 5 equal 0? When does x plus 1 equal 0? So on the first one, if you add 5 to both sides, you get x equals 5. And the other one, if you subtract 1 on both sides, you get x equals negative 1. Now remember, those are the values that we can't have. Those are the ones that can't be in the domain. So your textbook says the domain is, doesn't say domain, but the domain is all real numbers. This is the long way to write it out, except x cannot be 5 and, 5, and x cannot be negative 1. Now, so they write all that out. The set notation, which that's what I saw in WebAssign, they write it this way. The set of x, the domain is the set of x, such that, that's what that long line means, such that x cannot be 5, and I think they just put a comma, x cannot be negative 1. Okay? The interval notation, in case anybody ever asked, somewhere, someplace, somebody has said, hey, what is an interval notation? It's going to be all the real numbers up to negative 1. You do have to go from left to right on the number line. It's going to be all the numbers between negative 1 and 5. And then it's going to be all the numbers bigger than 5. So this is the interval notation. And I don't think they ask for that in WebAssign currently, in that assignment anyway. But if they ever do, that's how you do it. And it goes off the number line. This is set notation, and that's what I saw. And the other one is just kind of writing it all out in words. And so a lot of times at this point, students would say, well, what do you want on the test? I don't care. I'm going to be flexible on these problems because all 3 answers are good to me, and the book and WebAssign aren't extremely consistent, so I'm just happy with you getting the right answer. And I won't care which form you put it in. All right.